the July 15th, 23 group call for SASO University. Very quickly, we want to cover the modified close extremely quickly. I want to cover the marketing audit that I just released very quickly, and then we're going to jump right into problem solving. Hey, Casey, is that better? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sweet. So what I was saying is that we'll do the modified close, the marketing audit. We'll cover Tim's questions. I want to cover your questions that you put in the group, and then we'll move into how to actually say so the business, which is the really cool and fun part. So really quickly, last call, we talked about the ultimate closing framework. It was a 10-step framework, right? Where we're learning how to close. The modified close is the exact same thing as the inbound or intake form. So I'll very quickly share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So the intake form, if we remember, is very simple. We don't really need to ask the contact information because they're already communicating with us, right, on social media. But essentially, this is all you're doing. You're essentially saying, hey, where are you? Where do you want to be? How quickly do you want to do this? And then the commitment part is pretty, lackadaisical. That's kind of where you're like, okay, cool. This is how my process works. It's this many dollars for what you're looking for. And these are the things I would need out of you. So I would need to meet with you once a week. When we're onboarding, I need to have a nice onboarding session. It's a little in depth. It's a little dense, but I need to get all this information so that way I bother you once and not 15 times. And then here's the link and, payment. That's essentially all it is, right? If someone's coming to you, you're doing a modified close, just really relax, right? Current state. Hey, where are you? Okay. How's your profitability? How's your route density? How's your retainer packages? You're asking as many questions as possible. The reason we're doing this is because they will tell you what they want to hear from you. They will tell you how to close them. If they're telling you I'm stuck here and you go and you pitch, if they say I'm stuck at X and you go and pitch Y, that makes no sense, right? So if they say I'm stuck at X and you pitch a solution to X, they're gonna be like, oh wow, that's exactly where I'm stuck. And you can go, yeah, I know, you just told me, right? So it's all about listening, making them feel understood, making them feel heard. That's where you're eliciting the emotional connection. That's where they will use emotion to justify, or I'm sorry, that's where they will use logic to justify emotion, because the logic, it really doesn't have to be there. It really doesn't. If you can just loosely explain, there's a science behind what I'm doing. If the emotion is there, it will make much more sense. And if your social proof is there, it will make even more sense. For example, if you look at Liver King, I just love using this example because I don't know, like if you didn't see him, if you didn't see any testimonials he had, right? Just eating sheer liver and testicles, like if some people you tell them, hey, that's how you're going to get in crazy good shape. And they're like, I don't know. And then he's like, hey, aren't you tired of this? And he does the emotional connection. And then he goes, hey, look at these other people. There's the social proof. All of a sudden you're like, well, the logic makes sense. Like that's how we kind of, no, you're just validating another solution because they couldn't do fitness to begin with. So the logic really doesn't have to be that strong, which is why I don't want you to do a feature dump, because if you're in this call, if you're using high level, ClickFunnels, WordPress, if you're using any one of these tools and you understand that, right? Chances are you understand one of two things very well: marketing or the technical component. Either way, there's a science behind that. There's human behavior behind that. You're taking a very analytical approach. However, when you probably signed up for high level over ClickFunnels or ClickFunnels over high level or this over that, there was an emotional connection that resonated with you, whether you like the founder of the company, whether you like the angle better, it's all different. And I'll say this really quickly and then we'll move on. You can do everything and more in WordPress, right? WordPress is a highly powered machine. High level, it's better because it's all in one. You can manage all your clients easier, right? There's the emotional connection to where it just makes sense. So there's several ways with marketing. It's just understanding how can I use emotion to justify my logic. That's all you're saying with marketing. So with the close, it's the same thing. How can I use your emotion to justify my acknowledging the gap, my closing the gap, my pricing? It's all the same thing. So I don't want to cover this too much because I know we covered it on the step 5 training and also the step 5 group call. But this is essentially the modified close. It's super relaxed. If somebody comes to you and they're saying, hey, I need your help with this, don't reply back and be like, oh, we can do this and this and this and that. No, That's all I statements. I want you to use second person, you. Tell me where you are with this. What is your profitability? What are your margins? What is your staffing level? What is your route density? What are your retainer deals? What are your packages? What are your pricing? Why are you priced? All second person, because you're understanding, you're basically weaponizing your knowledge to turn around and use that to help close the sale. Now, don't overpromise and underdeliver. It's better to underpromise and overdeliver, but you're using that information to help the close. If you can't provide what you're saying, don't lie. I'm not saying lie, but ideally, none of this stuff is hard. Go look at the best vertical SWAS offer training. It's really not difficult. I push a lot of people to a local SEO group on Facebook, and I see a lot of the group members from SASO University in there engaging. I love it. And I'll even reply to them in that group. Hey, this is what I use. This is what I do. But the fact of the matter is somebody's closed a client from our group and now he's over there and he's like, hey, I've closed them. Now, how do I do it? And I'm like, beautiful, perfect, because it's really not complicated. So just really quickly wanted to touch on that. For the marketing audit, I'll spend all of 45 seconds unless somebody has a question. Let me send it in the chat real quick because it really is a great group. Now, here's what I'll say about the local SEO guys. SEO is very technical. So I say that to say heads up because they can come off a little like direct, insensitive because they're very technical, very smart people. So
Quick
my,
question.
yeah, what's up?
Define local SEO. Are you talking about GMB optimization?
Yeah, yes. And also how to localize a website. So when you're
Gotcha.
localizing a website, for example, like, Tim, what's your industry you're working with?
Veteran owned service based home businesses.
Okay, cool. And here's the link to the SEO community. So for example, the GMB needs to be optimized, but on the website, right? Let's say you're working with a veteran who owns his own he's like an electrician, right? So, and let's say he's in the city of Allenstown or something, right? You would do Allenstown electrician in Allenstown. So that's like a really, really oversimplification of what it is, but essentially that's what it is. So it's basically saying, hey, Google, we're an electrician in this area. Here are the services we provide. Here are the locations we service. That's essentially what it's saying. So I just
Roger.
sent you the link.
And you're just simply you're not talking about huge SEO strategies with keywords and
No.
all that kind of stuff. You're just talking about just changing the headings and the
So,
tags.
so you are going to have some keywords. Here's where it's different. And this is why I love local SEO, because if I want to, and what you're looking into, right, is you're actually looking into what we call long tail keywords and then location specific keywords. So keywords in general, just to like do a really quick crash course. If I'm saying electrician, right, naturally Google knows that if I'm looking for electrician, I probably need somebody near me, right? But if I type in marketing, I don't need somebody near me. If I type in, um, I'm trying to think of something like basically a remote service, like a video editor that doesn't need to be near me. So what happens is, or even an accountant, a lawyer, like certain teleservices, right? Where it can be remote. What happens is if Google determines that the search you're looking for is not necessarily local, it will show you people who are ranking all across the world. And I'll give you a great example, SEO. So let me share my screen again. And I'm going to show you, the reason I want to show you this is because I'm going to call it before it pops up just to show you guys. So Google, I'm going to type in SEO and here's what's going to happen. Neil Patel is going to be one of the top 3. So sponsored, sponsored, sponsored. Let's see. Moz. Oh, wow. He's not even up there. So he must be falling down. Yeah, there he is, Neil Patel. So this guy is an SEO master. So he's the first person with a personal brand. HubSpot, that's a huge CRM. That's not local to me. So here's what Google's doing with SEO very quickly. Number one, it's rewarding people who are paying to be on their platform because it's still an ad platform as well. It's defining what it is because I didn't type in and I didn't give it any intent. All I did was SEO. There's no search intent there. It's just what is SEO? So Google's trying to figure out what is your search intent. Is it number one? Here's what these people are trying to rank for. Are you trying to learn what it is? Here's some question types because maybe your question is too like broad. Maybe you're trying to learn how to start. Start, right? Beginners. Hey, are you looking for someone near you? I'm in Florida. So they're saying, hey, here's some people near you. Are you trying to learn what it is in general? Like, you see, what I'm saying? The ultimate guys, we're going from beginner to more of an ultimate comprehensive look. And that's essentially what it's doing. So for local SEO, check this out. Let's go electrician. So just typing this in, right? I'm not even putting the near me. Google's going to automatically assume a near me, and they're going to put people near me. Why? Because if I type in electrician, odds are this is where I'm trying to eventually go. So we have the near us sponsored. So check this out. This is really cool. This is sponsored too, right? So these are PPC ads, right? Are you familiar with PPC? Or anybody
Yeah.
not familiar? Okay, cool. If you're not familiar, interrupt me. I'll quickly break it down. But essentially, it's just Google's paid ads. Notice that the paid Google business listings appear above PPC.
Local service ads.
Local service ads, exactly. Or Google verified, Google guaranteed, all the same thing. Isn't that interesting? And check this out. The number one guy has 8 reviews. Number 3 has 1.6 thousand, or yeah, 1.6 thousand. But number 8 over here is over top. So you see why when we do the breast vertical SWAS offer, why we go organic? Because check this out. This is organic right here. These are strictly organic. So we go organic. Then we go paid organic. We want to have paid directory listing. And if you can, this is mostly US. I know there's some restrictions if you're Canada, but mostly US. Look at this. Number 8 dude is beating a 174, a 1.6. He's beating a 1.2, a 32, a 42, a 10. He has the least amount, yet he's number 1 because he's doing this properly. Right now, for me a quick side note, me as a marketer, I could reach out to him and be like, hey, you're number 1, but not for long. Like you have 8 reviews. Like let's solidify your number 1 position kind of thing. Right. Or let's pay for this, but let's also bump you up down here. To do that, we need a certain amount of reviews. Right. Now check this out. If you're trying to do local SEO, it could be electrician in Hollywood, electrician in Park East Hollywood. That's a very precise location, right? Electrician in Florida, electrician in Pompano, electrician, right? So those are locations, but check this out. Here comes the long tail keyword. So that way, when you're writing, you don't have to just write about, electrician in location. People also ask, Google is telling you what people are asking. So these become potential blogs. These become potential paragraphs. So if I'm writing about electricians in Florida, I can say, hey, what does an electrician actually do? Here's all the things we do. And now I know these need to become products on my GMB page. Number 2, what are the pros
Oh,
and cons of being an electrician? That's probably not a buyer. That's more of like, I want to become an electrician. Is being an electrician a good life? Is being an electrician happy? Okay, they're having some really metaphysical, some really in-depth questions here. But now let's change look at this. Let's change the intent. Let's see what our questions do. Oh, it's all applicable to the buyer because now we've given Google some kind of a guide. So when you're starting out, yes, you can use certain tools like Local Falcon, Surfer SEO. I'm going to make a training on all this stuff. But what you can do just starting out, don't pay anything for your first person, right? You type an electrician near me, and here is what people are searching. So you can come in and say, hey, what's the best price for an electrician? You're looking at between 50 to 130 an hour, right? How much do they charge per, and watch this with Google. There's what, like 7, 8. I'm just looking. Watch this. I'm going to open and close this. Watch what happens. Open, close. Look more. Open, close, more. These are all topics you can include on pillar content. And pillar content is essentially these really, you've probably seen this before. It's these really long blogs and they link to all the other articles. That's what pillar content is. So you can have one blog that's massive. It covers like electricians in the area, and then it links to other services. It links to, let's see what electricians do, right? 'Cause I know nothing about electricians. So let's type in electrician services. Let's go to my questions. Here we go. Let's see. Electrical tasks. Boom. All of these become my services on the page. assuming my client can do it. I have to check on my client. Hey, you can do all this stuff, right? Cool. So all these become services. You can also have on your service page, they become mini blogs as well. So what do I mean by that? Power and lights restoration. I'm going to write power and light restoration in Pompano, Florida, in Park East, Hollywood, in Houston, Texas, in New York, New York, right? And then under that, I'm going to write all about it, but I'm going to continuously include long tail keywords. So power and light restoration in Florida. See how long that is versus electrician near me. So these essentially become um, the different topics that you can write about and you can include. Yeah, Casey, what's up?
Should we be doing things like this for our agency as well, like for our SEO to boost us higher? Or should we just be really focusing on getting clients and focusing on their SEO when we're doing that?
Great
It's part
question.
of our package.
Great question. SEO is a long game. Here is the issue. Everybody is trying to rank for SEO using SEO, right? So now again, if we come in here and let's leave services this time, and I'll even show you actually, let me actually show you Neil Patel's website. This thing is really cool. It's called Uber Suggest. So check this out. I'm going to show you why I'm going to show you why, right? Enter a keyword. Watch this. SEO. That's all I'm going to do, right? For this it's a free tool for a certain amount of uses. So I'm going to type in SEO. Now I'm showing you this to show you something very specific. Let's see. I might need to do search engine optimization. Let me do that. There we go. Oh, look, it got me with the block. Essentially what it would do, right? If I was able to go through is essentially it would show you the site strength and it would show you the rankings. And so what that means basically with the site strength and the different rankings for the website is that it becomes really hard to compete with them. So for example, if I'm typing in SEO, somebody who's been talking and doing SEO and they're getting a lot of clicks, they're going to have like a site strength score of like, 79, 82, something high out of 100. You coming in, you have a score of 0. And the one thing that you can never beat them on is years in service because we're starting after them. Where you can beat them is CTR. And so I have a lot of cool things. I'll give you like one really cool example of like a click-through rate. This is like a super, super sneaky move that you can use, and it's completely okay. This company did and very quickly, like click-through rate is the most important thing. If you're clicking on the link, Google will promote you more than anything because Google's essentially reading, hey, this is what they wanted. It doesn't matter if it's a brand new link. If a million people are clicking on it a day, Google's going to be like, why would we not boost it? This is clearly what people are looking for. So a way that you can really boost even your GMB listing, this is like super, super, I call it like just cheeky, just straight cheeky. This company, it was like plumbing or electric, it was a trade industry, right? They said, hey, if you put your name and birthday of a friend, we will send them a birthday card. And I think they did it for Christmas. It was like a holiday card. And when you do this, we'll actually give them whoever you send it to. It'll say like, happy holidays, Christmas card, and we'll have like a discount link, right? 5% discount link. So everybody's sending happy birthday, and it was like this really goofy, like cringy video cards, right? Like they're like their head cut and paste, and it was like they use like a simple plugin to do it on WordPress or just like some simple software, right? Here's the thing: it would do the silly goofy dance, but when you had to view it, you had to click on the URL, and the URL was to their site. So all these people are sending these stupid messages, even to people outside of their local area, and they had like 15,000 clicks in one day. And Google was like, "Oh, you go to the top," and they were like number 8 or 9. It was something like low. I think it was actually closer to 20, but I'll say less just to not exaggerate. But they were low. And when the guy did this, his click through went up, and people weren't leaving because they were like, "Oh, let me click and see the card." And the card's playing, and the card was longer than whatever the Google exit rate time is, because exit rate is where they click and immediately back out. They're clicking, waiting for it to load. So Google's going, "Oh, they're clicking on the site and they're staying on the site." And they shot up overnight within like one day, just doing a stupid Christmas letter campaign. But it's all about click through rate.
Okay.
Google just uses everything else to dictate click through rate, right? Because
Mhm.
why would you click on the link that says electrician in Pompano, Florida? Why would you click on that? Why are they putting that near me? Well, because I'm near Pompano, Florida. So
Right.
yeah, exactly. If it put Houston, Texas, and I'm in Florida, would I click on that link?
No.
So is Google going to make money if it's giving me links I would never click on? Exactly. So once you understand that click through rate is the biggest, so people will tell you all the time, it's search intent. It's search intent. Yes, it is search intent. Yes. But search intent leads to what? It leads to a click on your website. It leads to a CTR, a high CTR rate. That's another reason why when I'm doing ads, I love to push people directly to the website. I don't like doing it in like a Facebook lead campaign where you collect information in Facebook and enter it. I'm not a fan of that because I like pushing them to the website where guess what? My CTR is going up. So I say all of that to say it's really, really, really hard for you to rank on marketing on Google because that's what they do. Now, what you can do an alternative, and this is up to you if you want to do it. I specifically do not do it for the very reason I'm telling you, you can do it. If you're wherever you are, you can have your marketing agency rank for local, right? And then you can have, now here's the catch, you have to have a physical address in that location, right? Here's the really cool thing I want to show you. So this is great for if you have clients that do not have a physical location. This is really cool for if you want to have a location in a city that you're maybe not in, right?
Hmm.
This is what you're going to do. You're going to come here, you're going to type in virtual business address. Check this out. Come here. And what we're going to do is you can get a virtual business address for $10 a month. And you can get items in the mail, but that's not the point of it. Look at this real physical street address. And so now I can say my business is physically located in this city because of that. I'm not talking about the articles of incorporation because that's going to be where you filed your business. Like for me, it's in Virginia Beach because that's what I went with for my agent, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where's my business physical address, not the agent that handles my tax filings.
What about GMB verification with that?
Yep, they will handle it for you as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
View and manage mail remotely, so they will send you a postcard. They will get the postcard. You'll pop it open and because what they do with the postcard is they just send you like digits, right? It's like 7 or 8 digits, whatever. And then you can view and manage your mail remotely. You can forward it to yourself from here. So once it goes to this is nice too, because I really don't like having a client's address, like home address online, because what you can do is like, let's say like crazy scenario. Let's say someone like tries to go to your house, or let's say someone tries to send you something that you don't want to receive in the mail, right? This acts as a filter. So you can be like, oh, cool. Like that looks like like the Acme bomb from Looney Tunes. I probably don't want that at my house. But this is like the Google verification. Yeah. Can we forward that on over? So that's where it comes in. And like, check this out. Let's select the state. I'm in Florida now because I just moved. Select the city. I'm pretty close to Fort Lauderdale. And look at this. All these addresses I could choose. Now, why is this nice? We've already explained why it's nice for us if we don't have a physical location. Why is this nice for blue collar businesses that don't have a location? Or why is this nice for like groomers who have a van and they drive around, right? Or mobile car dealers, anybody without a location. Why is this nice? Because if I put that location on Google Business Map, all of a sudden, I just increased my radius of who I'm nearby. So now it doesn't matter how many rankings I have or how many reviews I have. It doesn't matter how I'm doing. Google Business will almost always prioritize location. If I search coffee shop, it will show me the one that's right next door before it shows me the one that's 5 blocks away. That's just how it works. So this is a really easy way to find low hanging fruit in terms of just getting easy clients. And $10 a month, I mean, no one that we're working with is charging less than $10 a service, right? No one is doing that. And if they are, then you're probably in the wrong industry. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and this is why it all boils back down to social media is king. Now, SEO is great because if they come to you, cool. On the Google business, the intent is way more buyer focused. On a random ranking, It's just not that buyer focused. Now, here's something. Oh yeah, go ahead, and then I'll answer.
I was I was gonna say there's a lot of marketing businesses, agencies, and everything in my location, just like I'm sure there is you're being in Southern Florida as well.
Everywhere, yeah,
It
everywhere.
so I was like, it's gonna seem like a huge hassle, so I was happy going social media route. I just wanted to ask.
No, no, you're fine. And here's a cool thing you can do, right? Once you have people that are following you, right? You can post on your group. Ready for this? This is another really cool way. You can write an article, and let's say you're at 200 followers and they're all plumbers or whomever you're working with, right? You can post an article on your Facebook page where you should be pushing them regardless. And you can say, hey, mini excerpt, read more. Here's the blog. They click on the blog. Guess what? Your CTR just went up. You have viewers on the actual blog. If the blog is monetized using affiliate links, great. At the bottom, there should be a call to action to work with you. Great. It's all indoctrinating content. Another thing you've probably seen is people will, you probably are a part of several newsletters like we all are, because I follow hack all the time. You'll see a bunch of text, a bunch of text, a bunch of text, and then hyperlink. What does the hyperlink do? When you click on it, you go to their offer. Yes, but what else is it doing? It's boosting their SEO dramatically. So if you want to learn SEO, go to the guys who are killing SEO, hop in their newsletter. How are they doing it? You want to learn paid marketing, go look at one guy's page that does paid marketing. Don't do anything. Leave. Watch how he or she retargets you using paid marketing on Facebook. Is it on Instagram? Is it on TikTok? Is it on YouTube? Is it on, like, where is it? Right. If you want to learn copywriting, again, email is going to be good. And look at the stuff that if it's converting you, right? If you're like, I need to join for whatever reason. It could be even like, I want to join to learn more because this sounds compelling. You're falling for it. And I'm not saying that to put you down. I'm saying that to say, I want you to start consciously recognizing that and being like, you know what? I just fell for that. That guy's good. Why did I fall for that? How can I replicate that? How much value is he adding? How much of this is value? How much of it is a call to action? And then look at all their emails, because what you'll see is it'll be story, call to action, story, call to action, story, call to action. And then out of nowhere, you get one email. It's pure call to action. Hey, we're closing this deal up. Hop on. Hey, 5 more hours left, whatever. And be honest, because there's some people who are really good. And then when they go to execute, you're like, oh, that was weak. Be honest, be fair. And that's a really easy way to funnel hack.
Okay.
If you look at copywriting, just a really quick tangent, and then we'll look at Tim's situation and then yours. A really quick tangent with copywriting. I think I posted this on my page where I told somebody that sending these long emails, I can't stand the long email. It used to get me, right? This was like 4 or 5 years ago when they started. It'd be the long emails and they're like 1-line paragraphs. You guys have seen that all the time, right? And it's like really cringy because they try to inject a lot of personality. It's like, hey, this was me too. And there's like in parentheses, like, ugh, embarrassing. And you're like, oh man, that just kind of hurts to read. But that used to work really well. So I recognized that a year ago and I was like, this is dying. AI was becoming really big at this point. I'm not saying that I'm the first person to coin this at all. I'm just saying I recognize this as a trend. I essentially said everything is so artificial that remember, everything we're doing is antithetical. That's how you stand out. What's the opposite of artificial? Raw. Right. And like, just to be funny, this is a real story too. And it's a little funny. Have you heard the Kardashians are like going in and they're removing their BBLs? Like, because everyone is getting a BBL now. So like, I don't want to be like that. The rich are extremely antithetical, right? They're going in and they're literally saying, I want a less perfect body because this is more authentic and raw. Why? It's because it's different. So that's just like a funny example of, again, this being right. But check this out. I told this guy, this is one of my posts. You may have seen it. I told this guy, use shorter messages. It's more authentic. Don't do these long stories that nobody cares about. Short message to the point, right? So I told him shorter messages convert higher, 2 to 5%. He said, agreed. Very short. First email sequence fired. 7.7% reply rate. Okay. And I said, are you just getting started? He said, yes. So I told him this 11 minutes. 9 minutes later, he has these results after sending 26 emails. Like he just immediately took what I said and ran with it. Like he spent money on what I said. And look, this is a comment section, right? I had never spoken to this man before. I've never spoken to him since. He just took my word for it, launched a campaign, 7.7. So I said 2 to 5 over what I said he was getting as results. So the with the email, it's becoming shorter and shorter. It's more and more authentic. It's assertive. It's not passive. It's not aggressive. It's not drawn out. It's to the point. It's raw. It's authentic. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished. And it definitely don't be cringy about it. A lot of people inject a lot of emotion. I always say inject personality, yes, but they inject too much emotion. Like I was doing this, I felt so scared, and now look at that's great when we're
I get
talking
it.
from a monotone point of view. Everything should be monotone,
Yeah.
monotone, monotone. When everybody becomes monotone, we switch it. We go Wolf of Wall Street, and we're using tonality, pitch, soft, then loud, slow, then really quick, right? Then we go back to Wolf of Wall Street. But right now, everybody's on that like kick, so we do the opposite, and we just go monotone because they're sick of being burned by think about it. All the new people come in, they do what everybody else is doing. So what happens if you're doing the same thing, you get associated with that level of scam, with that level of low quality work, with that level of low professionalism, right? So these are all micro mannerisms that essentially cause you to stand out in a better and better way.
I never read when I get like long emails and things like that. I'm just like, this is all a waste of my time. Not even worth
Exactly.
the effort to read through the marketing anymore.
But if I sent you a one liner with
Yeah.
no formatting and it even
100% reading it.
sent from my iPhone, like something like
Yep.
bad, and I'm like, uh, hey, Casey, saw you engage with XYZ, read your profile, looks really good, would love to chat. Are you down? Like,
I would at least read it and then I would go from there. Like
exactly.
click on like if you had like another link or something or look you up and be like, all right, where do you say he was from? I'd check it out a little bit and then I decide.
Exactly.
But if you sent me like the long ones, I just immediately delete them now.
But if I get right to the point, and imagine that super informal, really ugly email, imagine if that was what I sent to everybody and I just replaced your name with everything.
Yeah, but I mean, it works. I mean, like even in sales, or a lot of professionals are talking about it. And I think people aren't catching on that the shorter the sales process, the more likely you are to sell them now versus the longer it is. Like, it's not like old car salesmen where you strong arm them after 2 hours of sitting
Right.
at the table, like 30 minutes in and out, and like you bought a car. Otherwise you're not buying.
And that's exactly why we go with a low drag funnel. We're removing it's super lean. And people are like, well, I paid so much money. I want the funnel to be really in depth. Did you pay for that in depth funnel or did you pay for it to convert?
Yeah.
If
100%.
I can convert with one page and that page is ugly, guess what? I've actually validated your claim because the page is ugly. Now let's make it pretty and see what it does to your conversion. Let's split test pretty and ugly. And that it works like crazy because it's low drag. You're essentially not giving them time to get distracted. You're not giving them time for a notification to pop up and interrupt the process. You're not giving time for them to XYZ. Like think about how busy the average individual is. Why would I elongate my chance of somebody interrupting that process via notification, in person, whatever? Or even, and this, I don't want this to sound bad, but it's going to sound bad. Even give them time to be like, what am I doing? Like, no,
100%.
I want to get you in because I know once I have you in, I'm going to provide enough value to where you're like, that's why I did it. Or I joined because I was shaky. I really thought you were, a scammer. I'm so happy I joined because this made a massive difference. That's always a great feeling. So I want to pivot over into what Tim mentioned. So I want to start focusing and anybody else who wants to speak up on it, more than happy, but I want to go Tim to Casey, see if anyone else has any questions. And then I want to focus on where you're stuck and then how we address all of this moving forward. So very quick overview. I want to cover value price, services to offer, time management and project management. And let's see. Finalize offer. There's one more thing. Content creation. So that's what I want to cover. So, Tim, I'm going to open the floor for you just for anybody who may not be aware of the comment you left and just let us, if you don't mind, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And very quickly, everybody, I want you to see the way I'm talking to Tim is the exact way I would talk to a client. The only difference is I'm not going to close Tim on anything. I'll show you where I would if he and I were just meeting, but I want you guys to pay attention to how I speak with Tim. I want you to pay attention to how Tim responds back to what I'm saying. Okay. So Tim, now that all the pressure's on you, we're going to cover, and I'll specify as we go the closing framework, where he is, right? So Tim, where are you with the business? Because I know, but bring the class up to date, so to speak.
Uh, okay, let me try to be as brief as possible. So it all started in 1998 when no, I'm just kidding. Um,
That's how it
so
always goes, though, isn't it?
yeah, let me start. Yeah, I'll just be really brief.
Yes.
Um, uh, I'm, I'm older. I've been not in the marketing business, but I've been doing video production my whole life. And so I'm in my mid 50s, and I just started marketing probably about maybe 5 years ago. And what I've always had a problem with, on my own, is pricing. And now that GHL has all these really, really great tools, um, I, I have I have a website with a couple of prices, but those prices are just for the main GHL items, miscall, just the five things, optimize the website, optimizer, Google, optimize GMB, miscalled text back, take every lead and make it into a message, give them that cool app. And then, um, one other thing, but just the five things. And, w- what, and I've got also on top of that, I've also got some confidence issues with myself, my perception, and, how I view my value based on other people. Yeah, which is funny because I've got a concrete client who is I was working on his something. I was looking at his website, and I think he pays me $250 a month. I started out, I kind of wavered on my pricing with him a little bit, and I there was an objection, and I assumed the objection was price, and it wasn't. It was just, what am I getting for this value? But I didn't realize that until I was looking at his content, and he showed me this, there's this really cool basketball court in the back of a yard that was huge. And I said, "Man, that's really cool. You guys do that?" He goes, "Yeah, actually, that's my yard." And it was like, $750,000 house. So I'm thinking, clearly he doesn't have a problem paying $300 or $400 a month.
Right.
So, anyways, so that's some of the confidence issues I deal with now. For as far as the other stuff, I'm just having a real difficult time trying to price out, because I know that I definitely need to have a concrete. I do this for this much. If you want this, it's going to cost this much more. If you don't want this, it'll be this much less. Um, Honestly, I know that it doesn't matter what those prices are for me. It's all based on, value propositioning, and whatever the prospect thinks is a value. But the just the fact that I have an issue, uh, that I'm unsure and unclear on how to price appropriately, um, make me feel unconfident in the talk. And so, I do the websites, pretty much everything that GHL does, I do. I feel
Right.
comfortable doing. Along with, I also do I have a product that I'm just starting out, which is a podcast product. I basically bring them onto a podcast, or I'll go out to their place. I'll interview them, and then I'll take that and chop it up and make, 30 or 40 reels out of it,
Beautiful, beautiful.
uh, for them. And it looks pretty polished, but, uh, I think my pricing on that can be a whole lot more. I think
Yeah.
I right now it's about 2 grand a month.
Can I
Um,
ask you a question? Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Um,
I
so
was doing my monologue, but,
no,
whatever,
no,
if you
I
want to break
no,
in.
sorry. No, I just a genuine question. So like it sounds like you provide, like you have a lot of value to provide. It sounds like you are very capable in handling it. So if you were to sell your product now, I don't, like you say you have a confidence issue. It sounds to me again like you can handle everything and you're confident that you would be able to better their business. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, what I learned, because I've done a lot of sales in my life,
Awesome.
is, and like I think sometimes I just try to like shed a little light. You got to think of it as like not. being worried about what you're asking for, but that you're doing them a disservice by not giving that to them. So try to remember that when you're in the conversation, because like, I mean, it'd be wrong, like, right, morally wrong for you to be able to boost this person's business another 10%, 20% a year and not offer that to them.
Right. Yeah.
Group of thought.
Yeah.
No,
Some
that's
things.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely a good point. So I want to, so I'll see if anybody else wants to hop in, of course, but like, so Tim, what do you think my next question is going to be? Just based off what you shared, what do you think my question to you is going to be?
Where are you at right now?
No, well, I think you did a good job with that
Okay.
because you covered like, uh, and notice, and again, I'm not saying this to pick on you. I'm using this because, uh, while you have concerns with the closing, you strike me as someone who's very self confident in every other aspect. So I'm going to use this as a learning moment. Notice how the brunt of what Tim was saying he's stuck on is causing him confusion, and he doesn't know where to go from there. So notice the answer I'm going to give him is going to be, finite, tangible somewhat, but the emotion is the problem he's trying to solve. Because if he was crushing it at 250 for every client, it wouldn't be a problem, right? If he was selling lollipops at 250 a buck, he'd be like, no, life is Gucci. Like, I'm doing great. That's not the problem. The problem is the value and price conversation, which is going to be, we're going to discuss. You mentioned the pricing. You have the website with the pricing on the website. You
Yeah. So
mentioned,
let me just kind of give a little bit of context. Like, here's an
yeah,
example. I have a Cairo client. Um, I am doing database reactivation for them, and we had a huge list, like 10,000 people. Um, I just finished that up, and they're still hurting. It's a brand new business. It's kind of a weird deal. They're still hurting for clients, right? And so I'm considering doing local service ads for this guy because it's new and Kairos are not. Anyways, that's what I'm considering doing. I have no idea how to price that, and
perfect.
I
So,
go
yeah,
ahead.
so the pricing makes sense. The thing I want to cover on before you move any further is when you're working with the Cairo client, have you already done all of the organic steps, like the Google business optimization, the website localized? Because those are going to be your low hanging fruit. And like I was telling Casey, that's going to be, you want to start that first because time is a major component there. Time will compound because your CTR will compound, the call CTR will compound, the website's CTR, the direction CTR, right? So they're all click through rates for those different buttons, will compound. So I would say number one, make sure your GMB is perfectly done. Make sure your services are listed as products. Make sure they're posting once a week on there, or you're posting once a week on there for them. And I'm going to cover pricing because as you see, it's like, okay, whoa, this is adding up. And then the website needs to be localized. Now, here's the thing with when you start pushing any kind of a promotion, even a database reactivation, because essentially a database reactivation is you're sending the ad creative, but just the copy of it, right? And you're using this really informal. So like with the email, and I haven't seen it with the email, I would keep it short and I would have some kind of a deal. And there's a case study I want you to look up. Massage Envy. They did a deal where it was like $39. And then when they brought them in, they had some kind of like an annual deal where, hey, you can come in 1 to 2 times a month. We take care of you. And that deal is, whatever for the month. And they said off that email campaign, they made millions. And all they were saying was they had a low ticket offer to bring them back in. Once they were brought in, they were pitched the annual deal, where they could come in and get adjusted. Great for clients who have to come in and, if you have scoliosis, you have to be treated very frequently to make sure the spine's aligned. If you're sitting at a desk all day, like I am. So I said, like, here's the interesting thing with me, not that anyone cares, but the reason that Kairos love me is because I sit for 8 hours a day and then I get up and I do extremely intensive physical workouts. I'm doing heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, heavy bench, heavy hang cleans. I'm doing sled sprints. I'm doing really athletic stuff for all of 2 hours a day. And then I go immediately into hibernation mode because I'm at a desk. So like, uh, and it's very hard for me to get my 10,000 steps in, which I do manage, but I'm very interesting to chiropractors because I'm doing heavy training and then I'm extremely inactive when I'm not working out. So chiropractors love me because my back always needs to be adjusted.
Right
My
on.
neck, you're squatting, 300, 400, 500 pounds. My neck always needs to be adjusted. My upper back, right? Those things always need to be to looked at, right? And then my ankle, my hip mobility. So like For me, just a quick tangent, if they're saying, hey, listen, like let's just look at our fitness people. And this boils down to the CRM and tagging people in the CRM. So I'm gonna connect it to high level, right? Someone comes in, obviously we don't want to violate any kind of like we don't want to be prejudiced, especially in the medical field. But if somebody comes in and tells you I'm an athlete, I'm gonna tag them as an athlete and they're gonna get hit with my chiropractor newsletter campaign tailored to athletes. Hey, here's a really spine healthy workout. By the way, when was the last time you got checked out? Because that could be negatively impacting your lifts. And I'm going to come in and be like, oh yeah. Or, hey, remember last time you came to me because your squat wasn't the best and you actually injured your neck? For me, it's always the neck. It's always the base of the neck. Hey, remember when you did that bent row and your neck was in the right position and you creaked your neck? Like, hey, you have to remember we said you need to come in preactively, right? Prehab, not rehab, right? So how can we boil all of that avatar? I'm just using myself as the avatar. How can we boil that all into a single messaging campaign? So I would say, hey, yes, we can do a quick database reactivation, but here's the best way to do it. Number one, we want to start tagging clients, seniors, athletes, um, maybe moms, right? Because you have the prenatal care, uh, postpartum, the mom is a different, right? Maybe the tech guys, how can we tag them all? So now when I'm talking to a tech guy and he's giving the email campaign, like, hey, tech neck, right? So you're always at your desk. Are you getting your 10,000 steps? Like these are the things that are going to help you holistically because that's what chiropractors love, the holistic approach. By the way, to make sure everything is flowing properly, I want you to come in for a nice little adjustment. And then when you're reaching out to them, you can have the same promotion of, let's say it's a $39 offer. I'm just using a random number. But now when you're reaching out to the tech guys, you're saying, hey, the tech neck offer, right? This is the tech neck $39 deal. The same discount rate goes to the athletes. And you could say something like, and again, I'm doing all this on the fly. So if it's not going to be the prettiest, but right, you got the tech neck deal for the athletes. It could be the body realignment for power, right? Because if for those of you who know fitness, sprinting or lifting, right? It doesn't matter. You want to stack your joints. So when I'm lifting, I have to have my chest up. If I'm doing a squat, my chest has to be up. If I'm benching, chest has to be up. Squat, deadlift, chest has to be up. Everything, the sternum has to be extended, right? So I could say, hey, let's get this, some kind of a name saying like, the joint stacking adjustment or, what I'm something that's awful, but something that says like, hey, we're going to align your body to help with what you're doing. Whether that's moms, athletes, tech guys, seniors, right? We know for a fact that seniors live longer when they're actually lifting weights, which is actually kind of funny to me, picturing like granny going in for like a crazy bench or something. But like you can have these campaigns tailored to these people. And right there, that's 4 email campaigns. The only thing that's changing is who's getting what campaign, but and the title of the offer, but the deal is still the same, the $39 deal. So when granny comes in, she's like, hey, I'm here for the, senior citizen, support deal. I'm here for the $39 deal. It doesn't matter what they call it. The receptionist and the doctor know it's a $39 deal, and we're going to try to pitch them on an annual pricing. That's exactly what Massage Envy did, but they didn't break it down to that level because they were doing a database reactivation where you can't go back and retroactively tag these people, right? Because you're going to make a mistake. So looking back, bring them in. Once they come in, have your client tag them. And then once they're tagged, you tag them in the system. And once they're in the system, you have the same campaign tailored 4 different ways. You use custom fields. The custom fields that change are just the subject line and the offer. The rest is identical. And the name, of course, right? Their name. The rest is identical.
Right on.
And so and again, that has to come after optimizing everything else. But the database activation is really enticing. Here's another thing. When you're working with anybody, this is why I love a comprehensive service. So what do I mean by comprehensive really quickly? I can run a nasty marketing campaign, but if I send it to a dog doo-doo offer, it's not going to do well. So I can't stand working with people who are like, well, I didn't sell. I was not hired to sell. I was hired to market your campaign. You got a bunch of people at the door. They didn't close because your offer was terrible, right? No one wants to buy newspaper ads. No one wants to buy like the one I always joke around about. This guy comes to me and he's like, oh, I made this thing and describes it. I'm like, that's Linktree. He's like, oh yeah, it's kind of like, I'm like, no, that's identical to Linktree. You're 9 years late. Like no one's going to go with you. Why would they go with you? They go with Linktree. You're not even priced below Linktree. Like it doesn't matter. It was a terrible offer. So I can run a great campaign and push people there, but the offer, as we know, sells itself. Crack sells itself. Brain surgery sells itself. So how do we have a crack level offer. So you can come to these people and that's where you can say, listen, it's easier to market because we know it goes offer, marketing, sales, right? We know that's the order. If the offer's good, you don't need these two. If the offer's weak, you need these two. The marketing's weak, your sales had better be on fire. That's why they had door-to-door encyclopedia salesmen. That's why they had door-to-door meat salesmen, right? Because the sales had to be good because people aren't marketing T-bone steaks or ribeyes or tomahawks, right? So how can you, this is a question that you won't have to chew on. How can you go to your client and say, hey, let's make an offer that's really good? You do that one of two ways. Either what they're selling is terrible, which is why I refuse to work with people who sell products, because if the product is bad, think about all the work that has to go into redesigning or finding a new product, and the whole brand built on the offer, right? So the offer changes, the whole brand changes. But for a service base, how can we package it in a way? And how can we package it in a way? You look at Hormozy's training for the $100 million offer, you look at the step one training, and we're making an antithetical offer. And chiropractor or chiro in general, I don't know the noun form, chiro in general, right? It's already antithetical. It's holistic versus modern medicine. Not to say modern is bad, but we take a holistic approach. That way we need less of modern medicine, which at the end of the day, they use heavy metals too, right? So like, I'm telling you, like, I know the chiro very well. So this is where you come in and they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So you're not saying, hey, come get your back adjusted. You're saying, hey, this is the tech neck chiro offer to adjust your neck without changing your, daily schedule, to adjust your spine, to make sure it's some kind of irresistible offer. You don't need the risk reversal because it's not that big of an offer, but something that's enticing, right? And you can even say something like, hey, if you want people to opt in, here's 10 exercises you can do. Here's a 10-step exercise that you can do to make sure your tech neck doesn't hurt, because you've had them tagged, right? To make sure your neck isn't hurting if you're working on it. Here's how to keep your posture right when you're working on a computer, when you're working on your phone, when you're on the go, right? Also, we have a $39 special just for people in this. So right there, it's like, okay, yeah, these exercises work. And what's going to happen? They're either going to do the exercise and they're like, oh, this helps. Thanks. I'm going to keep bringing your emails. Or they're going to be like, do the exercise and be like, my neck's still tough. I think I do need that adjustment. Like, watch this. Ready? Everybody right now, picture having lice in your hair, all those nasty little bugs, itchy scalp, right? Already some of you are like, don't scratch like that. Oh, I can feel it, right? If you're doing that in an email, they might start being like, oh, you know what? My neck is bothering me just
Right.
because of what you're sending them. It's just like with lice, right? It's the lice effect. If I start talking about it, you're going to like, already my head's itchy because I'm talking about it. It's the same exact principle. Like, oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, right? That's kind of what the newsletter is doing. And so you have to, the same thing that I'm telling with you can tailor and you can adjust and pivot it to work with your industry. Now, how much you do so, it depends entirely upon the industry and what you're offering. So let's pivot into pricing. Number one, two things with pricing on the website. There's two ways you can do it. If you are doing strictly high ticket, you can pull everything off the website and have your call to action just be hop on. Now, the reason I say this, when I'm saying high ticket, I'm not saying so much just high ticket. Let's say like a variable offer. So what do I mean by that? If Tim, if you've done video, the scope of the project almost is never the same. It's always like all over the place. You have to hear the details to give the price. So anything where it's like really variable offer really has to be tailored fit, I would take the pricing off the website. The only time I wouldn't do that is when you have to tailor something. Example, suits. So there's a flat rate for tailoring a suit, right? Unless you're extremely large and we have to get more material, there's a flat rate for the tailor fee. But for you doing videography, you can be like, cool, these are the packages when you get on the call. But depending on what you want, we can trade this price for this offer, move here. And so we make it perfectly fit with your budget. I'm actually working with a videography client and he actually watches these videos. And this is exactly what I told him. And I tell you the same thing. Do not lower your price ever. Never, never lower your price. I don't care if you set it at a penny. I don't care if you set it at 100 million pennies. I don't care where you put it. Don't lower your price. What you do is to work within a budget, you trade. So if you're saying I can do all these things, like you mentioned, I can do these 5 things. And let's say it's $2,000. They go like this. I don't have $2,000. Okay, cool. What is your budget? And what we'll do is I'll remove the lower priority items. They're still important, but lower priority. And we'll focus on the bigger things first. So they go, cool. I have 1,300, right? So it's not exactly the prettiest number, 1,300. Cool. So we had 5. Here's what I'll do. I'll remove this low hanging fruit. And then this one, we're just going to reduce the frequency in which I'm doing it. And I can work at 1,300 right here. How does that sound? And that is how you negotiate your price. Now, don't worry, I'm going to get to how do we set the price. But once you've set the price, I don't want you to give up. And there's a lot of objections we can do. So I'm going to use a video example just because I know that's the language you speak well. There's a guy, I can't remember his name, but he has the account. It's like The Future. He's phenomenal at objection handling. He's very laid back. He's really great at what he does. He has this video where the guy's like, he's role playing with other videographers or video clients. And he's like, cool, it's $1,000 of the video. And the guy's like, well, I don't want to pay $1,000 a video. You go like this, great. Here's another option we can do. You can pay me $50 per lead. And I have to rely entirely upon you to be honest with me about the $50 per lead. Now we on high level, we don't have to rely on them because we can look at the things and be like, nah, you got like 15 form submissions. Like I know what's owed to me. We have a right. But he says, this is what he says. He goes, it's 50 a lead. I rely on you. And the guy's like, I don't know how I feel about that. He's like, why? And he goes like this, ready? What if the video brings me more leads than I would have paid in the $1,000? And he goes, oh, it will. I know it will. That's why you've come to me in the first place. But that's not why we're talking this pricing. We're talking this pricing because you're hesitant. So this is the best way that you can start for $0 down. And this is the best way that I can recoup my value and the service I'm providing to you. So we both win. You don't have to pay up front, which is clearly your priority. I get to recoup on the back end. And that's, just the bare minimum that I need to make this happen. Oh, well, my priority isn't really not paying up front. My priority is just the best deal. Cool. The best deal is the 1,000 up front because I know I'm going to get you more leads. You're going to save more money in the long run, and then insert risk reversal. And if you don't, I'll work with you for free until you do. So you're essentially guaranteeing the result because you're saying no matter how long it takes, I will work with you until we do. So that's where the value comes in. Where does the pricing come in? 2 different ways. Number 1, I want to address the thing that I don't think you guys are going to expect me to say, and then I'll address my favorite, which is the actual closing. What I don't think you guys expect me to say is the high-level services, I price that at 97. If you are just coming in as a DIY client, you want to do it yourself, 97. So this is the really cool part. Why 97? It's the lowest I can charge. I'm never going to work with you one-on-one. You're doing all the work yourself. Are you ready for this? And I have training coming on this, so you guys are going to love this. We're going to build a community, just like I have with SASO University, but now it's focused on your industry, whether that's local blue collar, whether that's local veteran blue collar, whether that's just electricians. We have, if Rebecca and her husband are watching this, they have a plumbing group already. So whatever it is, it doesn't have to be super broad. It doesn't have to be super niche down. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you build a community. You have a DIY ticket offer, which is you join, and this is ready for this. This is actual SaaS reselling. You get high level, and now what we do is we brand it. So it's not directly high level. It's still mine. Where is the difference? Because that's the big issue with SaaS. Why mine versus someone else's? Are you ready? They get access to the community. They get access to your own membership, just like I have in SASO University, own membership training. And here's what that training looks like for the DIY. You work with a bunch, remember that we talk about this in the comprehensive marketing approach. You work with a bunch of clients, you figure out where their questions are, and you chronologically make videos for them. So now you're saying, hey, when you join Tim's business as a veteran, you're going to join our network of veteran blue collar workers, the hardest working people in American society, both in your previous career and in your current career. The most honest downer, and you're using the branding of who they are, resonating with them, right? When you join, not only do you get access to this software, boom, 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 feature. You also gain access to the community. So you're networking and you can learn and talk with each other. You can connect with, wouldn't be surprised if you have past war buddies in there, right? I'm a veteran. I can't tell you how many times it's actually funny. I'll go in a group and I'll be bickering with someone and they'll be like, hold up, you were in the military? I was like, yeah, you? He's like, yeah. And then we go from bickering to like best friends. Like that's how veterans are, right? Like we used to go in Tim, are you a veteran? I'm seeing
For
I'm
sure.
seeing,
20 years in the Navy. Yeah.
cool. So, well, okay, Navy's a little different only because we had a wood line in the Army. So we'd
Because it's
go,
better.
yeah, yeah. We, we'd go in the wood line. I'm sure you had something in the Navy where you go somewhere when you had a problem with someone and you beat the dog crap out of each other and then you go get a beer afterwards. You probably
Right
had,
on.
you probably didn't have the wood line because you're on a ship. But like the Army, Marines, that's what they did, right? Air Force, they probably went to their, hotel room with their cushy blankets and, therapy dogs. But Air Force is the worst. But anyway, uh, yeah, you probably like that's the beauty of like veterans, right? So you have the community, which any veteran will tell you, and Tim, tell me if I'm wrong. Any veteran will tell you, no matter how bad or good their time in the service was, nothing replaced the brotherhood, like that
Roger.
community, nothing. So you're rekindling, you gain the software, and ready for it, you gain access to our 12-part video series teaching you how to start, operate, scale your business. And then what are you doing? You're dropping training once to twice a week, just like I'm doing. And think about it. And I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. Think about how many people reach out and they'll be like, wow, this group call was really helpful. Wow. And like this stuff like really gets me like, it gives me chills. Like I'm getting chills right now. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me and been like, I just landed a client. Like you have no idea. This changes my life. I've been doing this for 8 months. I haven't landed anybody. I work with you for 2 weeks. I have 3 clients. Like that is, I'm like, oh, like that's crazy. And I'm doing that all through the video training, right? And then the group calls, this is where you tell me, like, so right now we're in a group call and you guys are telling me I'm having trouble with pricing. I'm having trouble with organization, with being productive. Casey's working insane hours. He needs time to, how can I do this in less time? Cool. Guess what my training is going to be on? Exactly what you need to succeed. So guess what? Just like in the closing, what do you need from me to win? Cool, here you go. Here's how you win. Here's the actual value. Now I have to be good at what I'm doing, right? But that also comes with gathering feedback and talking to them, right? It comes from, hey, give me the instruction that you're looking for, what you're stuck on. I make the video. And what do I say at the end of every one of my videos? If you have comments, questions, concerns, or requests, let me know because this is for you. This program is for you. You're paying to be part of this program. I'm essentially working for you. Tell me if it's not clear. Tell me if I'm missing the mark because I want to make it perfect for you. People will stay with you till the day they die. So now, Tim, your bottom tier level, okay, your lowest tier level is video trainings you drop once a week, a group call you do once a week, a community, and there's still software clients. And think about this. We have 5 people on the call right now with me. So 6 total, right? There's 42 members. They're not all going to show up. They're not all going to be present. They're not going to all take advantage, but those things are very enticing for people to join. And then you record your group calls. Sound familiar? You post them on YouTube. Sound familiar? People watch the videos and then they join because they're like, I want to be part of that. Sound familiar? It's all the exact same stuff. It's just tailored to your industry. And if anyone's thinking like, oh, this is multi-level marketing. No, I'm not telling you to go out and do the same thing I'm doing with the affiliate side. I'm saying go out and do this within your industry. And so here comes the pricing. Your bottom tier, you can do 97 a month starting out. SASO University will eventually get to 300 a month. Now, everyone on the call is locked in. It will eventually get to 300 a month. How am I justifying that value? We're going to have VAs on standby in a Zoom chat room where you can hop in and they will help you with whatever they want. Whether it's onboarding, setup, whatever you want, they will help you. That's number 1. Number 2, we're going to have an AI content generator bot where you type in your industry and the problem you're trying to agitate, and it will create the problem agitating content for you. It will create the ostracizing content for you, and it will create a VSL for you. It's not going to be perfect starting out, but that's why I'm not jumping to 300 a month. That's why I'm starting at 25. Monday, guess what? Prices go to 50 a month. So for you, Tim, you can start at 97 and you can eventually climb to a higher and higher level. Look at software I know you know, Service Titan, Jobber. They go up to 300, 500 a month. There's no support there. There's very little support. There's very little trainings. Imagine if you came in and did something better. And they go, well, Tim, you're using high level. I am. Yeah, of course I am. Just like a handyman uses a hammer, just like an electrician uses, pliers, or just like you use whatever tool, right? Where's the difference? The difference is the trainings, the community, the networking, the instant replies, the VA on standby. That makes a massive difference for a DIY community. Now, what's going to happen? If those 10 exercises for the neck don't work, what are they going to do? Hey, I got to come in and get help. Cool. So now in your community, you're upselling them to your actual work. You can upsell one of two ways: a one-time setup, or maybe a quick fix, which is where you have your VAs do it for you. Or, hey, Tim, I want you to help me do this with me, with my marketing team. Think back to the comprehensive marketing approach. That's the done with you offer. Cool. That's where they meet with you once a week. And here's where the pricing comes in. So we know we're going 97 to start your DIY community. I'm just going to give you starting points. As you do well, reach out to me. I'll tell you, hey, let's jump up this much based off what you're telling me. Just starting points. 97 for your DIY community. For your done with you, no less than 1,200 a month. Here's why.
That is crazy.
Here's why. What state are you in, Tim?
Texas.
Okay. I love Texas. Check this out. This is why. Are you ready? Texas minimum wage. I don't know if that's accurate. Is it 725 still?
No,
No, I
man,
think,
it's like $15.
okay, it's 15. Okay,
12.
cool.
Actually, I think it's 12. Doesn't matter, but I get it.
Let's say 12, right? There's 40 hours in a week. Let's just do, we'll start with 40. There's 4 weeks in a month. So you're coming in, and that's not overhead, right? We know overhead is significantly higher. It's about 30 to 40% jump, right? Because they've got insurance. Even on the people who don't get insurance to their business, they have insurance, you have employment tax. So let's add 30%. That's what they're paying for an entry-level schmuck who isn't really doing much of anything. Now, I'm not putting down minimum wage people, but think about if when you worked minimum wage jobs, or Tim, think about when you were in the Navy and those is it still E1s to come in?
Roger that.
Think about that quality. Okay, we had in the Army, we had ASVAB waivers. The ASVAB is a test to assess where you should be in the military. If you get below, I think it's like a 20, it basically means you're borderline Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. And they had ASVAB waiver. I knew a kid that had a 9. I had a 92 on mine, which was decent. 9. He had less than 10% of my total score.
Yeah,
Great
just for
guy.
context, our ASVAB limitations are super high in the Navy, so just saying.
Right. Yeah. The Navy is usually like the smarter group. It usually the Marines and the Army are usually like the dumber group. The Navy and the Air Force usually the smarter guys. So we had a 9. They had to sign a waiver saying, "Hey, bring him in, even though he's so dumb." So imagine that guy. They're paying this much to retain him a month, right? You're coming in at 1,200. So how do we validate that price? We do two things. We show the value, right? We show expected results. We have guarantees to make sure it happens, the risk reversal. We have case studies. Hey, we work with this guy. We made him this much money, right? That's number one. Number two, we diminish anything lower. If you're trying to go from, let's say the construction guy, if he has that nice of a home, right? He's probably making 6 figures a month, minimum, because I'm sure contractors and construction, they have to have a certain contractor license, which means they actually have to make a certain amount of money to keep their license. That they have to be within a certain income bracket annually. So when you're at a class C, a class B, class A, like there's certain income requirements to say, cool, you can now move up. So think about how much money he's making monthly, right? If he's stuck at 100,000 and he wants to go from 100 to 200,000, that's $100,000 problem. And I'm saying this as a learning moment, Tim. When was the last time $250 solved $100,000 a month problem?
Right.
And this is what I want you to ask them. If the objection is price, when was the last time you paid $250 to solve a $100,000 problem? And because this is what they'll say, well, $250 is high. Cool. You're here. You want to get here. This is the difference. When was the last time you paid what you want to pay to solve the problem you want to fix? Here's the second part. And this is the part I really, really wish was not true. This is the part that it drives me up a wall. If you don't charge a certain amount, Tim, they will not show up to your meetings. They will not care. And then a few months down the road, they're going to say, we don't think this is working out because we're not getting anything out of it. even though you're waiting for us to get on the call. You're ready to share the done with you process. You have the training out, even though you've done everything. We don't see any results. They don't see any results because they're not showing up. They're not showing up because they don't take it serious. They don't take it serious because it doesn't hurt them enough to pay for it. And I
Gotcha.
and I hate saying that because I would love to solve people's problems for $10 a month, for $20 a month, for 97 a month. I would love to be like, hey, my first 10 clients, I want to blow your mind away. Right. If I came to you and I was like, hey, you have no money, I'm going to help you for $25 a month. Sound familiar? The people in this group on this call, and I understand some people couldn't make the call, so not bashing you if you're listening. But if the people on the call, right, you guys are saying, you five are the only five saying, I will make it happen at 25 a month, right? When this becomes 300 a month, watch how many more people join that could have come in at 25 a month. I'm literally telling you guys, I'm getting frustrated because people don't want to take advantage. They don't want to take advantage of my low pricing, but that's just how that, for whatever reason, they equate price with value. So I know that wasn't the objection they gave you, Tim, but I want to cover that before I cover the objections that they actually gave you. And then the price to the done for you, I would say if its minimum is $24.96, I come in at, like you said, $2K a month. If you think I'm crazy, go type in blue collar website marketing, whatever. Go look at the pricing structure they have. It's usually a one-time setup fee of 500, depending on how I've seen a guy, he's making bank. He charges 2,500 for setup. And it's like 5 pages and 3 service pages. And then they do blogs week. So here comes the value. You're doing blogs weekly to help them rank for local keywords. You're doing GMB optimization every month. Why every month? Because Google changes its algorithm more than our baby changes clothes. You know, if you have kids, they throw up, they poop, they spit on everything. We're changing my daughter's outfit like 4 or 5 times a day. Google changes algorithm so frequently that if you optimize it and they change something, cool, you're out of the loop already because you're not staying up to speed with what they're doing. So you're optimizing it weekly, you're adding blogs weekly, you're making posts on Google Business weekly because that keeps you higher up in the ranking. You're running local Google ad services. You're making sure that the money's being spent right. You're running local ads. You're running PPC ads. You're doing all these things that require you to check in and to understand the data, right? And here's my personal favorite. I don't want to pay that. Cool. You can go on YouTube. You can learn it for absolutely free the way I did. It'll take you about 2.5 years, but it's exactly free. It's perfect. Exactly what you want. Somebody else does it for cheaper. Cool. Why are you even on the phone with me? Go with them. I think I know why you're on the phone with me because you don't want cheaper. You want value. You just want to get the value for the best bang for your buck, right? Cool. Here's the thing. I could charge this much. I could charge 10, 20% of your problem, but I'm only charging 5, 10% of your problem because I'm trying to work within the budget that you. And I have the risk reversal. Why is the risk reversal beautiful? Because I told you right now, Tim, give me $5,000. I'll give you 30,000 in 30 days. If you knew for a fact that would happen, how quickly would you wire me the money? If you knew for a fact, right? So when you have the social proof, when you have the guarantees, you're not making it a possibility. You're making it a probability with the social proof. But now with the risk reversal, you're making it a guarantee. We say guarantee so much that it's lost like luster. I'm guaranteeing. You could change the word, see if it resonates better. If I told you right now, you give me 5K, I get you 30K a month over the next couple of weeks because it takes time to grow. But within 3 months, we're averaging 30K a month. Where is your hesitation? The hesitation lies in this. What if you can't do it? If I can't do it, I'm staying with you for free until I do. That's too much money. Okay. Well, we just showed you the pricing for minimum wage person. So you have my entire team working for you for this price of a single minimum wage employee who I guarantee is costing you more than they're making you. When was the last time you solved a $25,000 problem for, 200 a month, 300 a month? Well, I don't need the full package. I have a marketing team. I just want you to help them. Cool. I have a done with you package. It's $1,200 a month. Why? That's the price. The price is what the price is because you're getting all my years of experience. I'm fast tracking your results. Again, if you don't want to fast track it, cool. Pay me nothing. Have them hop on YouTube. I'll send you a list of resources. I'll reach back out to you in 2.5 years and I'll say, hey, have you learned everything yet? Think about how much money we could have made. Think about how much this could have compounded in 2.5 years. But if that's the way you want to go, I'll be more than happy to send you those resources. And so the value, here's the value. It's always putting eyes on the business every single day. So now you're putting eyes on the business. You're helping them with the offer. You're helping, and when I say eyes on the business, remember that's organic, paid. You're helping them with the offer. You're making antithetical offers. You're handling email communication. You're handling their entire marketing. Go look at any major business that posts their financials. Go look at what their marketing costs are. Marketing goes hand in hand with R&D. Why does it go hand in hand with R&D? Because when you're marketing, you're collecting all the data of people who bought and didn't buy. So now you can say, cool, how do we keep the buyers buying? How do we get the non-buyers to buy? That's why marketing and R&D goes hand in hand. R&D also deals with product. I wonder why. Because a good offer will sell itself. Fidget spinners, I've never seen a commercial for a fidget spinner. They went crazy. I've never seen a commercial for brain surgery. I've never seen a commercial for crack cocaine or prostitutes. And yet I've never seen a commercial for supercars, right? The offer is irresistible to the target audience. Hopefully the crack cocaine and prostitutes is not irresistible to you guys, but it's irresistible to a certain market, right? So for you, Tim, the value, and this is where it kind of gets a little mushy gushy. I don't like taking it there, but sometimes it needs to go there. The value is, a lot of people have this, is the imposter syndrome, because you're like, well, somebody could do it for cheaper. Yes, they could. But the fact that you're thinking that already says that you have a really big heart and that you really want to provide the value you want to provide. That's number one. Number two, just like Casey said, it's almost immoral for you not to charge higher prices, because if you don't charge the price at a certain level, they won't take you seriously and you will fail them. And that will look bad on your business. Imagine you charge them $250, they never take you up on the offer, and then they leave you a nasty review. Waste of money, waste of time. Had you charged them 10 times that, or even 5 times that, all of a sudden they're paying attention and they're like, wow, this is really good stuff. And I'm going to do another shout out to Rebecca and her husband. They paid a pretty penny for a marketing course. They came over here and they're like, wow, this is so much better. I'm not even kidding. I'm like 1/20th the cost of what they paid over there. The value for me, the whole point of doing a low ticket was helping out, but my ticket price is going to go up as I include more. So start at 97, 12, and 24, for example.
Okay. So
Target
let me throw this out there real quickly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Say that again. Target
businesses that are making money. So think about this: construction, their average ticket number is high. If you're charging barbers, it's going to be really hard to justify $2,400 a month to a barber, because a haircut's like what, 20 to 50 a haircut.
Right.
Nail salon, same thing. Auto body repair, same thing. That's why if you look at everything auto body, what do they do? Ceramic coating. Why? Because it's $1,000 a job.
Right.
That's their high ticket offer. Construction, $1,000 is like nothing.
Nothing.
They won't get out of bed for that.
Right. Okay. So that's cool. So I struggle with this a lot. Since I said whatever, I'm not gonna, here's what I struggle with. What if I can't provide results? And there have been times when I couldn't, I just couldn't. I get it. Go ahead.
The guarantee. If I can't do it, I will stay with you until I can for free. Now, for you yourself, so that's what you tell the client. For you yourself, what do you do? Because you're stuck there. You're like, crap, how do I actually do this? Here's how you do it. You come to me, you say, here, I'm stuck on this. I send you the resource. I kid you not, it's all on YouTube. And I wish, because I'd say this and people are like, okay, he said it's on YouTube, move on. I wish it were more complicated. I wish it were a little more harder, because a lot of you are thinking there's a special trick. There's something I'm missing. The something you're missing is that you're not missing anything. And it's really just a matter of sheer determination and will to make it happen. Now that sounds corny and it's like, cool, I want it to happen. That doesn't make it happen. You're right. It boils down to, if you're doing GMB and you're improving it, you're putting eyes on the business. Even if they stay at a 0.1% conversion rate, if you increase the volume, that will naturally, because the 0.1 stays the same, that will naturally increase the clients that close. Matter of fact, we do it for free, right? Organic, social media, push them to their local city hall, their chamber of commerce, push them to networking events, push them to all these things, Facebook groups, everything. If they're doing it for free, they had better grind, because it's free. Free means it's sweat equity, not financial cost. There's always going to be a time or a commitment component. So that's where you're saying, hey, this is how we do it. And for me, my first huge win, it was the same exact thing. I was like, oh, it's not working. It's not working. Not working. Out of nowhere. Hey, we just made 28K this week. Hey, I'm making 6 figures a year. It takes time. Are they in it for a side hustle, or is this your actual business you're trying to grind? Right?
Right.
Everything, if you look at a basic marketing flow when you start off, if this is X and X is zero, it always starts like this: lose money, make money, level out. Always. The problem is the lose money period depends on how quickly you can learn and how quickly you can apply. But a lot of people lose money and they stop because they don't have enough money to start in the first place. Guess why we do the $0 client acquisition model? Because you never have to worry about this with actual money. This is just the time commitment, which is free. And if you have no money and you're trying to make it happen, then you got to make it happen. It's like the really cool story of like, Kevin Durant, when he's like, oh, my mom's a real MVP. Why? She was waking him up before school, making him late at night use time to catch up in terms of skill. So how can we leverage as much time as possible to catch up in skill? That's where I'm going to very quickly pivot to Casey's thing when it comes to, I don't have time. How do we do it? That's where if you work and your financial situation is of no importance to me, don't share it with me. I'm not asking for that at all. But that's where you go, cool. If I'm working this many hours, how much of what I'm bringing in can I push to having somebody else do the work for me? That's essentially what it boils down to. How do we find the cheapest fulfillment? There's a few ways you can do it. You can either offset it to someone on Fiverr. How do we find the cheapest Fiverr people? You go Fiverr, search relevance for your search topic. You go to newest edition. You find people with no reviews. I'm doing this right now. I kid you not. My contractor, he works for me for 30 days at a time, a month at a time. Somebody guess what I pay him monthly. $300. Unlimited work for $300.
Uh, at what point in time on Fiverr, working with somebody, do you just realize that it's not going in the right direction and you need to pivot to somebody else? Do you give them
Perfect.
the full month or not? I think I tried doing somebody with SEO one time and it was terrible. And I was like, look, you guys are wasting my time. Like, you just stop doing what you're doing. And I'll
Yeah.
keep the money. I just don't want to be involved anymore.
So here's the honest to God truth. Number one, there's actually a company. I will try to find it and send it to you guys. I haven't tried it out. So what I'll do is I can try it out before, or I'll send it to you and say, hey, I full transparency, I've not tried it out. There's a Go high level company where you can white label their SEO services. And I've seen really good things. I think they're about $250 a month. I will find out. I'll send it to you guys. If it's good quality, I'll try it out. Feel free to try it out. I just don't want you to say, hey, you said it was great. And I haven't tried it, but I've seen really good things. So you can,
Denley?
no, they're an actual just strictly SEO. Extendly is great for the back office support, which I love.
Roger.
And Casey, that'll be big for you too, because if you don't want to do, for anybody, I hate doing back office support. I've had even some people here who are like, how do I do this technical thing? Honestly, all the answers are on YouTube. So all you're asking me to do is to do the Google search for you. I don't want to sound like rude when I say that, but a better use of my time is go do that and then come to me with the actual questions about the marketing and the closing, the stuff that people aren't sharing with you. Or, hey, send me a screenshot. He said this. What do I say? That's where you're going to get more value out of working with me. But the technical stuff, it's all on YouTube. They can handle all the back end stuff, all the menial work that doesn't need to be done. Right. But yeah, I would go on Fiverr, test them with little jobs. When it comes to the copywriting and the funnel design, this is my honest to God preference that I do. I do it because I use a template. I tailor it. I duplicate all the sections and I hide the ones for mobile and I hide the ones for desktop. And that way it's two different sites. So I can change the formatting to mobile, all centered, desktop, left, right, columns, whatever. That's just the way I like to do it. It's more, and we're going to be better at copywriting than the Fiverr people are at that level,
Yeah.
So if you can, let's say you're working long weeks, right? Make Saturday a work day or make Sunday a work day or make just a couple hours. If you have a significant other, wake up early or stay up late. Usually the wife likes to go to bed with me. So I wake up early, that kind of thing. 2 hours, crank it out. And what you can do is you can say, hey, setup time is 2 weeks. Setup time is 2 weeks. So what does that do? It gives you 2 weekends to kind of work on it. And it may be
Okay.
for you, Casey, it may be that you do need to have the negative drop with money versus
Yep.
time because you don't have the time. You have maybe, I'm not assuming, but
Yeah.
maybe you have more money than time if you're doing those good hours. So, leverage other people in that situation. I'll see if I can send over the SEO thing, but test
Yeah.
them out. And then from there, just put them on a retainer.
I think the SEO thing could help a lot too, because
Yeah.
that's like a whole nother essentially beast that I'd have to like learn and try to undertake. And that's just going to be a lot. And like, obviously, I work 50, 60 hours a week
Yeah.
easily, and not including what I put into this. Right.
Yeah.
So if I could offload that part of it and I don't have to learn that technical side of it and I could just take care of it, I'd be cool with that. And then I can deal with like the content, the creation, the sales and the market and like the marketing on that aspect. With SEOs, I think I'm going to have to dump 100 hours into it to become proficient at it, even close to proficient at it, and maybe
Yeah.
even have just a baseline. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. How, and yeah, just bear with me. Don't share like actual numbers.
Yeah.
How badly do you need to land clients? Like, is this like the difference between you living on the streets or not?
No.
Okay.
And like right now, I'm on the 97 plan. I told myself I'll stay on the 97
Love
plan
it.
until
Love it.
I get somebody. I mean, I could go up. I'm not going to, because it doesn't make sense until I
No.
have a client. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Here's what
So
I would do.
that's my
I
plan.
would come in with a $500 setup fee.
Yeah.
Don't use that to upgrade. Use that to turn around and pay someone to do it for you.
For like
And
the
now you
SEOs.
can, yeah. Or you can even come in at $1,000. Just people doing $3,500 setup fees.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
You can come in and do
No,
that, and you can and you can essentially make your content stronger there. And it really is. So if you're doing a $3,500 setup fee, who's your target audience?
So like I said, I think I'm going to stick with the auto shops, and I think I'm going to specifically target European repair shops, because like I work at one. I've worked with a lot of them. I've worked with a lot of race teams, and I know you said it's kind of like low ticket, but once you get into the European side of things, my average ticket price or like repair order cost at my repair or my office is $3,400. So like
So cool.
that'll be fine.
Come in like right under that, like 32.
Okay.
Just like a
Yeah,
hypothetical.
whatever. If I can find their like average repair order and just come a little under.
Just dip it under, because what that does, right, is it says one client pays for everything.
Yeah.
And then some. Even if the and some and then some is like 174, it's still and then some. So if I make you one client, it makes sense to work with me, right? Right. And that's how you can come in with a $3,400 setup fee. And this is what I did when I landed my first client. I said, I'm going to do a $5,000 setup fee. It was $49.98. And I stayed at that level until I closed somebody. And it took me 22 interviews before I closed somebody. But guess what? That covered all of my fees. That kickstarted everything. That gave me all the time to pay someone else to do it while I was learning it. When you get a check for 5K, and it was my first time getting a check just for 5K and not having, my first time being an entrepreneur, guess what? I had no problem staying up all day Saturday and Sunday just researching, because that was motivating.
Yeah.
So for you, I would leverage the money, as much as you can. Come in with a high, and the same for anyone listening. Come in with a high setup fee. If you're desperate for high level and you need to make it work, you flip it. No setup fee, 30-day trial. If you're not desperate for it, and it really is, you have less time, but there's no pressure, flip it and say, cool, setup fee, which covers them first month. And then we drop into your monthly rate. So it could be 3,400, and then we drop into 1,200, we drop into 800, we drop into 4, whatever. I appreciate that. So the last thing I want to cover, and then we'll wrap up, because I'm in beautiful, beautiful Florida and I want to go enjoy it. Who is familiar with a tool called Notion?
I am. I think it's fantastic.
Great. I'm going to have a training come out this week on Notion. I'm going to be restructuring the $0 client acquisition training. Yes. Perfect. I'm so glad you guys are using it. I'm going to restructure it. It's going to be the same training, but I'm going to take the trainings, I'm going to make them into, I'm going to break them down a little bit more and add some of the feedback you've been giving me. Right. And Tim, this is what I want you to do when you have your own group, right? I built it out, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to make it better. And I'm going to add in additional trainings. I'm going to have, I had the marketing training come out. I'm going to have training come out on using Notion. And what I'm going to try to do, I'm not trying to upsell you guys, but I'm going to try to buy a template from somebody. What they do is they have a Notion template where you can actually set daily schedules, and it tracks your daily performance. So it's really cool. I'll see if I can find the link, send it to you guys, or I'll try to buy it myself and then just give it to you guys for free. I don't want to violate whoever I buy it from, but they have these really cool templates where it's like Monday. This is the order I go. Ready? Content creation, outreach, which is group engagement, then DMs, then fulfillment, then fulfillment. And then I end up my day with research, right? I'm always researching marketing, project management, and high level, the actual tools, because they're always upgrading. So always those things. So some kind of human behavior, some kind of organizational stuff, and then the software itself. I'm always researching those three things every day. But what you do is you check those boxes as you do it, and it tells you over the time frame, hey, this is what you've done today. Here's how effective you were over the past month. You were 83% effective. Cool. Guess what my goal is for next month? 84%, right? Guess what my goal for the next month after that? 85%. I hit 100. Guess what my goal is? No less than 98%. So I'm going to try to put that training together and give that document to you. You guys saw the marketing checklist I gave to you. Hopefully that helps. I want to start giving you guys more tangible things because we've gone through the broad strokes. Now we're getting into the stuff where it's like the broad strokes. I think for everybody, it was a moment of just like, that's so stupid and simple, but dang, I was not doing it. Now I want to get to the part where it's like, hey, let me show you guys some stuff I'm using to really get you caught up. Like the marketing checklist, I love. We weren't able to do on this call. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up in the next 45 seconds or so. But the next call, I'm going to cover how to SASO your business, which is nuts if you haven't done it. Essentially, you create SOPs. Your SOPs are going to go to your VAs to do the work for you. You create Loom videos for your VAs. You put it in a document so you're literally training them. You make the videos one time and it trains them for you. It's nuts. And then we look at your overall process and we ask 3 questions. What is redundant in terms of like technical? What is busy work? It needs a human touch, but not my human touch. And what needs my human touch or a high value employee's human touch? And guess what we do? Redundant gets automated using Zapier, Integromat, high level automations, workflows, all of that. Redundant work. Well, let me go with this finger so I'm not flicking you guys off. Redundant work goes to VAs, which we send the SOPs to. And guess what? You are going to do the high level work if you have time. And if you don't have time, here's what you're going to do. So Casey, this would be great for you. You're actually not going to pay yourself for a very long time. What you're going to do is you're going to hire in your own CEO or your own account manager, and you're going to pay them $3,500 a month. And they're going to run your whole company for you. And as they bring in more clients at that high price point, you can eventually, this is what I did this for. If you go on my website, go look at Bill Wolf. This is what we did for his. He was running a business and working a job. He took his business makes over $200K a year. He's still working his job. I think he may have just recently quit because he was making so much money. But guess what? When he quit, he works 1 hour a day on his business. So there's 2 ways you can do it, right? You can leave and do this full time and try to aggressively scale this while doing your job. Or if you're more so like Casey, who's very smart, positioned himself to where he doesn't have high costs over the month, he can eat that 97 a month for a while. Guess what? You can build out the whole business. You can have somebody else build it for you while you automate and you coach them. You tell me you have like maybe 45 minutes a day. Perfect. A fire comes up, you handle it over the weekend. And then guess what? When you're ready to quit, this has already been built and you step into a full-time CEO role versus what other people have done. And this is what I did. I took a remote job so I could work on my business at home at the same time. Bill did exactly what I would recommend for you, Casey, to do.
Okay.
And that way, when you're ready to quit, you're not quitting and you're like telling the family, hey, trust me to work out. No, you're like, oh, I'm laterally sidestepping into a business I've been building this whole time with very hands off. And now, because the rest of us, we've learned all the skills while we've been growing it. And now we have to become leaders. You step into a leader position, but guess what you still need to do? You need to come down and you need to learn all the skill sets so you can communicate more effectively with your team.
Okay.
I don't want you to sidestep and be lazy. I want you to step and be like, cool, I need to understand this whole beast because I'm the vision. I need to understand where I can, guess what? Automate the work that can be automated. Have VAs handle this. Have somebody take over the job for me. And you will step into, the rest of us are building a business system. You will step into an already built business system. That's the difference. If you right now, most of us are, if you right now have to be in the business for it to work, you're not a business owner. You technically own a business, but you are technically a freelancer because you are doing the work. That's fine. That's the natural evolution. Once the business works with or without you, you can take 4 months off out of nowhere and it's still working and you're just checking your email just to make sure no one's like going crazy, right? Now that's when you're a business owner, when you own the system that makes you money, that generates you revenue or generates you income. So that the SASO process is all about, cool, now that you understand how to get clients, here's how to transition from freelancer into an actual business owner. Once the business is an actual system, we can scale it, we can optimize it, we can sell it, we can just keep it, put it on autopilot. We can leverage that income to move into real estate, into Airbnbs, into stocks, into investing in other businesses, into partnering with other people, right? It becomes a cash flow machine for you to actually move into things that will make you a lot of money. And I'll say this, and then I'm going to hop off. This business, I have bad news. This business is not going to make you a millionaire for 99% of it. It's not. What it's going to do is it's going to generate enough money for you to quit your job and to move full-time into entrepreneurship and take that money and invest it into things that will make you a millionaire, like real estate. But think about how expensive it is to jump into real estate just blind, like investing into other businesses. Look up Roland Frazier. All he does is buy and work with existing businesses, scales them up, and then he gets money on the exit. Who does that sound like? Alex Hormozy. Why are all these guys using a business to scale up? Then they sell that business, they automate it, and then they move into buying equity or doing equity deals because that's where the money is made. Look at Gary Vee. What does he do? He has a marketing company, yes, but he's actually not known for that. He's known for being the go-to mouthpiece for all things marketing. And he's on all these boards. That's where he's making all his money. He's a board member on all these different things. He does speaking events, right? His business is what got him the audience in order to leverage his money, leverage his audience, leverage the attention he was getting. So for you guys, I don't want you thinking, how can I get to $1 million with this business? No, I want you to think, how can I get to 20 to 30 to 40K a month in this business? How can I automate this business? And then how can I, which is another thing we have coming out, how can I take this money? And now how can I go work with other business owners in this aspect? How can I get to the forefront of marketing trends so I can make as much money as possible? Like Tim, you probably remember when everybody was like laughing at like Apple and Cialis. Like those are the two stock companies I always hear people like joking about, like, why didn't I invest on Apple? Why did I invest in Cialis? For the younger guys, why didn't I buy Bitcoin when it was 0.00001 cent per thing, right? Why didn't I do, right? Imagine if now all you're doing is trying to catch those trends because you have the money coming in and it's making you money. And now all you're doing is investing in businesses and then doing equity deals or real estate if you prefer real estate. So I'll have training come out on the productivity side of it, and hopefully that will help you. And then next call, we'll cover the SASO stuff, which is my personal favorite because that's where you can actually, what I'm going to teach you with the SASO is exactly what you can actually turn around and do with your clients and make them a ton of money. That's how I got my lawn care guy to 6 figures in a smaller town within, it was like within the 12 months, we got him to 6 figures on grass alone. That's not even landscaping, which if you're working with construction, if you know lawn care at all, that's pretty sweet. Lawns alone, 6 figures across 12 months in a location where they have winter. Not like Florida where you need lawn care year round. They don't need lawn care year round, yet we're making them 6 figures year round. So he's super happy. And I'll show you guys exactly how I do that. So I'll go ahead and wrap up. If you have any questions, DM me, let me know. I'll post a group call later on. I appreciate it, Tony. And then check out the training I just dropped. It focuses on collecting and injecting social proof into your funnel. It's a shorter training, 25 minutes, super crucial. Tim, I think you'll like it because it will help you much more confidently say, these are my prices. I can point and make lightning strike at will at this location. And I have the risk reversal to really make it a true guarantee. And remember, if guarantees lost its luster a little bit, I want you to change the word. Like, what if I told you I knew for a fact? What if I told you I could promise you? What if it was a sure thing? These are just synonyms for guarantee. So good call. I appreciate you guys engaging. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Any questions at all, DM me. But otherwise, you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yep. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.